The hens from The View are just gloating, and I was going to say something gross, but I'm not going to. They're just admiring and flirting with Liz Cheney for betraying her country, betraying the Republican Party, and just being a total rhino. And yeah, they just are glorifying her. Watch this. It is annoying, to say the least.
Former Congresswoman Liz Cheney has a family history of conservative politics, but she is once again bravely putting her country over party.
Right, that's what it is. By the way, if you like videos like this, subscribe and let's get back to it. And like and comment the American flag because it helps the algorithm in today's election day. Go vote Trump.
By calling out you-know-who as unfit, and she's crossing the aisle to campaign with Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. Please, please welcome this extraordinary woman.
You always notice, too, that Democrats love a Republican that will talk crap about other Republicans. They love you. You want to get quickly admired by all these terrible people? That's all you got to do. Just say you hate Trump. There you go.
Liz Cheney.
All right.
I think I echo everyone. We owe you such a debt. Well done and thank you.
No, listen,
you.
it's so important. And as you guys know, and as you've talked about, there are so many Republicans who are crossing the aisle. I mean, there is just this unprecedented coalition that's coming together behind Vice President Harris, because it's not about partisan politics.
No.
It's about the future of our country.
Well, since vice chairing the House Select Committee investigating the attack on the Capitol and your endorsement of the vice president, Trump's attacks against you have been unrelenting. He's called you to be jailed for treason. He's called you a Muslim-hating warmonger. And then by far, in my view, the most serious direct threat against you. We have a clip of it.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Now, Trump's campaign said he was criticizing your willingness to start wars and send American troops into combat without having seen combat. But now he's doubled down on his rhetoric, calling you a war hawk who wants to kill people unnecessarily and calling you a disgrace. What is your reaction to the clip we saw?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, he's said this nonsense about sort of, you know, war hawk before.
But that's what you are.
But what he did a couple of days ago, he's never done before. Taking the step of saying, you know, 9 rifles shooting her in the face, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows he's.
But that's the reality of a lot of all the men that you send over to war, that you want to be going to war. That's their reality.
It's a threat. It's an
direct
attempt
threat.
to intimidate.
Yeah.
Obviously, the intimidation won't work. But what he's doing, frankly, is every day when I'm out there, I'm talking about his lack of fitness and especially making sure people remember what he did while he watched television as our Capitol was attacked. For over 3 hours, he watched police officers be brutally beaten. He was told the vice president had been evacuated. He said, so what? People were rushing in, pleading with him, tell the mob to leave, and he wouldn't. And that level of depravity, he knows he has no defense to that. And he knows that the American people will not entrust again with power anyone who would do something that cruel. And so because he can't...
But hopefully they will today, guys. Vote MAGA, come on.
...respond to that, he tries to change the subject. He tries to threaten. And it's what autocrats do.
That's right.
To try to get their political adversaries to be silent.
Oh, and there they go again, calling him a fascist. Were you shocked? I wasn't.
Well, Liz, you threw your support behind Vice President Harris in September, and you not only endorsed her, you, for the first time ever, voted for a Democrat. So I want to ask you how that feels, but I also want to ask, was any part of that this idea of reclaiming the actual conservative values of the party? Because I always say, to get the Republican Party back, they have to get it out of Trump's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, first of all, there is only one serious, responsible adult in this race. There's just one. And it's not a race where we have the luxury of being able, sometimes conservatives will say, well, I'm going to write in an alternative. I'm not going to vote for Trump, but I'm going to write somebody in. And I want to make sure people all across the country understand you don't have that luxury. We have to defeat him. And I can't tell you how proud I was to fill in that, circle next to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I mean, it really.
Can you though talk us through your thought process? Because I remember when we did a book event for your book in Miami, I asked you if you were going to endorse Kamala Harris, or maybe it was Biden back then. I can't even remember. And you weren't ready to. But something happened, right? Something happened where you did become ready. And I'm wondering if you can talk us through that thought process for Republicans or independents, right-leaning independents, who might be looking at that ballot and just having a really hard time bubbling in Kamala Harris. Do you feel that voting for Kamala Harris means abandoning being a Republican? I mean, talk us through the process.
Look, the most conservative principle for conservatives, for anybody, is being faithful to the Constitution.
That's right.
And in this race, Donald Trump is certainly not a conservative. Donald Trump is advocating policies like this massive tariff structure that he's proposing that will raise everybody's taxes, that will drive inflation up, that will drive the debt. I mean, he's not conservative. For me, it came down to two things. One, realizing we have to make sure we defeat him. And it's not an academic exercise of saying, I wish this ideal person were running, so I'm going to write that person's name in. But I also have had the chance to spend time with Vice President Harris and to get to talk to her, to get to know and understand her sincerity about being a president for all of us, and her sincerity about being a faithful public servant. Somebody who is going to operate in good faith, and somebody who's the kind of person that will be able to lead and to inspire millions of Americans, and especially our little girls. And I think that's so important.
Oh yeah, it's so inspiring to inspire our little girls to get abortions. Yeah, no, I can't listen to another second of it. I really hope you guys are voting Trump today. Get out to the polls, wait in the lines. We need to defeat these women, okay? We do. We cannot have Kamala as our president. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.